Two longtime Burlington officials have retired from their elected positions. We'll talk about them and more in this edition of BNews. Welcome to BNews Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with Acting News Director Tad Stefanak, filling in for Rich Hosford. BNews reporters Chris Flaherty, John Vias, and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with Community Calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. Thomas Murphy Jr. has been a longtime member of the Burlington School Committee and has now retired from his position after 27 years of service. BNews reporter John Vias spoke to Murphy on his time with the committee.
Along those lines, and I'll formally make that as a motion, Madam Chairman, that the school committee appoint Ken Forty as a member of the school building committee. Second.
After 27 years of serving the town, Thomas Murphy Jr. has now retired from the Burlington School Committee. As a town meeting member in 1995, he was in charge to get a Proposition 2.5 override for the revision of rehabilitation on school buildings.
During that time, that was an unsuccessful effort. It was, but that kind of got me involved in the school end of things. In 1995, an incumbent school committee member, Lucy Damiani, decided not to run for re-election, so I decided to run at that time. That was my first election, 1995, and I served up until this year, so it was 27 years.
When reflecting on his years with the board, upgrading Marshall Simons Middle School, along with development on Memorial School and BHS Varsity Field, are three accomplishments in particular that stand out to Tom, in addition to hiring superintendents who have provided great leadership over the years.
From an educational standpoint, there were a lot of changes educationally over the years. I think the biggest accomplishment, in my opinion, is hiring good superintendents who are able to lead us through those times. Eric Conti, our current superintendent, has been with us close to 15 years now, and he's outstanding. Prior to that, Jim Picone was a very good superintendent as well. Katie Spinos for a short time. So we've had good leadership over the years educationally, and that's been the most important thing, in my opinion.
Through every town election and every major change to the schools, Tom made it his ongoing duty to make sure every project was managed thoroughly, working tirelessly with the school committee.
One of my priorities when I got on the school committee was to improve the positive relationship between the school side of the town government and the town side of town government. With good leadership on the town side, we've done that over the years very well. And frankly, when the two sides of town government work together, it kind of removes a lot of the obstacles that school committees typically run into with respect to funding and things of that nature. It's a lot of time. There's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of events, subcommittee meetings. It's more than just twice a month, sitting up at the school committee room. At the end of the day, I enjoyed it. It has its moments, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. I've had great colleagues on the school committee over the years, some long-term ones, like Christine Monaco's been there as long as I. Steve Nelson was just a year or two behind me. So we worked together well as a team. I thought it was an important job. And it seemed like every time it was time for re-election, and I'd be thinking about maybe moving on, there was something going on that I wanted to see through, and so all of a sudden you look up and 27 years have gone.
We at BNews wish Tom a happy retirement, and we look forward to what the future has in store for him in the coming years. This is John Vias for BNews Weekly.
Any old business anybody wants to bring forward? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
We have adjourned.
Bob Hogan has also retired from his position on the Select Board after serving for 12 years. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty spoke to Bob on his many years of service, not just on the Select Board, but also as the Veterans Agent to the community.
I'd like to congratulate Bob Hogan and welcome him to the board.
I'm thrilled to be here. I just want to thank the voters for giving me the opportunity to serve in this capacity, and we'll keep a positive attitude that we'll be doing the right thing at all times. So thank you.
And now, after 12 years of service, Bob Hogan has retired from his position on the Select Board. Bob has been a longtime resident of Burlington. After graduating from Chelsea High School in 1965, serving in the Army for 3 years, and receiving his degree from Salem State University, Bob and his family moved to town in 1976.
We knew a lot of people in Burlington, and a house became available from someone we knew, and we've been in that same house now since then, so that's 46 years.
In 1997, Bob became the town's veterans agent. In 2010, he first ran for election to fill an open seat on what was then known as the Board of Selectmen.
There were some things going on that I wanted to be part of, and I checked, and it was legally appropriate and just simply okay that I was the veterans agent at the time. There was no conflict. So I was elected the first time and re-elected 3 more times to serve until just recently.
Reflecting on his 12 years as selectman, Bob made note of some of the board's key accomplishments, including the work on the town's water supply, low tax rates, and the changing of town treasurer tax collector from an elected to appointed position.
The kind of budget we have now in the hundreds of millions of dollars, you don't want to leave it to chance that somebody would just come in and who was popular and get a lot of votes and become the treasurer collector with no real experience. So when Brian first made the decision to not run for re-election, we started the process, we were successful, and we were able to hire, I think, the best candidate for the job, and that was Gary Giannino, and Gary's doing a fabulous job so far, so again, we were very pleased with that.
Bob believes a significant benefit from his time as an elected official is the relationships formed with the community.
You get to know an awful lot of people in ways you don't if you're not an elected official. My time as an elected official goes way back to 1984 when I first became a member of the elected Board of Health. And one of the very first issues I had to deal with was a vote to close Pine Glen because of asbestos that was found in the school. I was the only one that had a student, a child who was a student at Pine Glen. And I said that, there's just no way that I could not stand up and say that the school had to be closed.
Beyond the select board, Bob has been very active in the community, serving on the Board of Health, as well as the Disability Access Commission, Rotary, and People Helping People.
Participating in this town has been rewarding for me personally, giving back, and, not everybody likes me, not everybody agreed with me, but I still did what I thought was the best at the time, so it has been a good run for me.
BNews wishes Bob the best in his retirement. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNews Weekly.
Town meeting moderator Bill Byer and town clerk Amy Warfield were before the select board requesting that the forthcoming May 9th town meeting be hybrid. Byer addressed the board with these quotes: "It's with great regret that I come before you to ask for us to be able to have a hybrid meeting for the upcoming May town meeting," said Byer. "I'll be urging all town meeting members who would be comfortable with it to show up in person because I strongly believe town meeting works better in person. The level of discussion is much better." Byer explained many members are hesitant to attend in person due to the recent rise in COVID numbers. He stated going hybrid is the correct thing to do at this time to allow all town meeting members to participate. The select board approved the hybrid town meeting 5-0. Town meeting will be held on Monday, May 9th at 7:30 p.m. at the Burlington High School Auditorium or via WebEx. Check the Town of Burlington website for links as the date approaches. Burlington Police Chief Thomas Brown and Deputy Chief Robert Kirshner were before the Select Board seeking the approval of 2 promotions. The Select Board voted unanimously in favor of the promotions for both Captain Daniel Hannafin and Lieutenant Matthew Leary. Captain Hannafin and Lieutenant Leary was selected for promotion as a result of an assessment center that evaluated applications for promotion in an all-day event on March 5th at Grandview Farm in Burlington. I'm pleased to report that all the candidates we assessed and interviewed for promotion did very well, said Chief Brown. We were lucky to have so many qualified and dedicated candidates. Captain Hannafin has been a member of the Northeastern Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council's Regional Response Team since 2011 and also serves as a team leader on the NEMLIC SWAT team. Hannafin also serves as one of the Burlington Police Department's primary use of force and firearms instructors. Captain Hannafin developed and implemented the Burlington Police Department's peer support program, leading a team of professionally trained officers who focus on the mental, emotional, and physical well-being of all police employees. Lieutenant Leary has served on the NEMLAC and RRT teams and maintains certification as a Municipal Police Training Committee Academy instructor who specializes in the legal aspects of interviews, interrogations, criminal investigations, and criminal law. Lieutenant Leary also serves as Burlington Police Department's Civil Rights Supervisor, overseeing the investigation of any allegations of bias crimes in town and ensuring the department complies with state laws on bias reporting. Congratulations, Captain Hannafin and Lieutenant Leary. Burlington Public Schools Director of Operations Bob Kuna was before the Select Board on behalf of the school committee seeking support of the schools in submitting a Massachusetts School Building Authority Statement of Interest for the Burlington High School. Kuna explained this will be the 11th time they've submitted to the MSBA. While it does not cost us any money to submit, the potential reimbursements that could come back to the town if we are selected are extremely large, said Kuna. So it's worth it for us to submit, and having the support of the Select Board is instrumental in that. Kuna explained that they are giving no official response for the past denials. The MSBA selection process is based on the collected tax money per year that funds MSBA projects. Selection depends on the number of submissions in accordance with available funds and what projects the MSBA deems important. The statement of interest was officially read into the record, and the Select Board voted unanimously in favor. Last Friday, the Burlington Girl Scouts celebrated a beautiful Earth Day in the town common with some arts and crafts while showing support for environmental protection. BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak has this look.
Burlington Girl Scouts were out and about on the Burlington Common to celebrate Earth Day. The girls crafted their own versions of Earth's wildlife, made some Earth Day sidewalk art, and just enjoyed being here on Earth.
My name is Layla, and I'm here for Earth Day activities. I'm celebrating Earth Day.
And why do you like the Earth so much?
Because it's where I live. It's our home, and I like helping it.
Burlington Girl Scouts also did some cleaning up.
We recycled things at the playground. Recycled things at the playground. We recycled things at the playground. Emma and me, and Annie, the one that won't talk. And we put it in the trash or in the bag that Mommy brings to the playground.
We can rest assured the future of the Earth is in good hands. From the Burlington Town Common, this is BNEWS.
The weather is starting to feel more like springtime, slowly but surely, although we played golf in 38-degree weather today. And like the Girl Scouts, many other residents and organizations are taking the opportunity to do more springtime activities. This week, members of Burlington's many clergies took part in the special blessing of the community garden ahead of the growing season. BNews reporter Robert Paris was in attendance and files this report.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise God, all creation.
Members of the Burlington clergies attended a special blessing at the community garden behind the Francis Wyman Elementary School on April 27th.
So last year, I asked Father Mahoney from St. Veronica's Parish to take a walk over and maybe do a kind of a blessing, which he graciously did. And as a result, last year we produced 2,500 pounds of produce. So we were talking over at the food pantry, and I said, well, if one clergy can bring us 2,500 pounds of produce, what will 5 clergy do? So we got the idea of inviting the Burlington clergy to come and bless the garden today.
St. Veronica's, St. Mark's, United Church of Christ Congregational, the Presbyterian, and Temple Shalom came by to give blessings.
I think this was really special, even though it was a kind of chilly, windy day. Just great for the community to come together and to offer blessing from multiple faith traditions and to celebrate this wonderful garden that's supporting people in our community.
Peter Coppola, who is one of the founding members of the garden here in town, invited me to come forward and just offer a special blessing over the garden itself as a way of just asking God to bless the fruits of the earth and to bless the work that is being done so they can help out the People Helping People food pantry. It was his little brainchild to invite the rest of the clergy here in town, and that's where we find ourselves today. We're able to have 5 clergy members here in town to offer our blessings from each of our own traditions.
Also in attendance was Jim Sheridan and Julie Lewis, who are part of the Burlington Food Pantry and People Helping People.
We use the vegetables that come out of our garden to feed people. They go directly to families in our community, so our clients. And last year we grew about 2,500 pounds of fresh produce that went directly to Burlington residents. And this year we're hoping for 3,000 pounds. That's our goal. So we just would like everybody on our side to try to cheer for a really good growing season.
From the community garden, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Christ and Holy Spirit or Ghost. Amen.
With all this talk of spring and outdoors, we now go to BNews weatherman Peter Brown to what the start of May has in store for us. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards May. I know it's hard to believe that we're that far through spring. In fact, we're now only 4 weeks away from the start of meteorological summer. I know it's hard to think that we have made it that far through the year, but better times and better weather are here to stay. Now, as we start our period on Friday, we're going to be seeing temperatures pretty cool for this time of the year. We're going to be seeing temperatures only in the low 50s with a chilly wind out there. Definitely doesn't feel like late April if you're going to be out and about in the Burlington area on Friday. You might have to have a heavy jacket with you or a sweater with you to keep the chill away from you, when our average highs now at this time of the year should be in the mid-60s. And then as we round out the period getting in towards next Thursday, our average high should be in the upper 60s at this time of the year. And that's pretty much where we're probably going to end up. It's going to be a fairly average week in terms of temperatures and precipitation. Nothing too cold, but unfortunately, nothing really, really warm in terms of some late spring warmth, unfortunately. So it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area over the next 7 to 10 days in terms of temperatures and precipitation. And looking at our temperature map, it looks like we're going to be expecting a chance of having average temperatures, maybe slightly above average. We'll have to see if that does pan out. And looking at our precipitation chances, look like we're going to have a chance of, again, fairly average precipitation, maybe a little bit above, and we'll have to see how much rain we get. We might have a weak system moving towards us next week. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but it doesn't look like anything too heavy right now. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And as we can see right here on our 7 day, there's really nothing too crazy out there. No snowflakes, thank heavens. But of course, starting out our period on Friday and Saturday, pretty chilly if you have to be out to start your weekend. Highs only in the 50s. As we get into Sunday, this will definitely be the pick of the weekend with some fair skies out there and temperatures in the mid-60s, so a really nice day if you can be out and about on Sunday. Now, as we head in towards the work week, we're going to see a couple of days here where we see the chance of some heavy showers moving in here. Looks like Tuesday is going to be the best day of the week, maybe temperatures around 70 and pretty sunny out there, but Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to be watching a series of some weak systems moving through here in the New England area. And we're going to just have to see how much rain that brings us. Doesn't look like too much right now, but again, something to keep an eye on. But as we look at our temperatures, they stay up there in the mid to upper 60s as we round out the period. So finally, we're going to be seeing some average temperatures as we head on towards the first week of May. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. Beginning May 1st, the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having a community garden contest. Registration must be no later than June 18th. For more information, go to burlingtonrecreation.org. On May 5th, from 7 to 9 p.m., the Made in Burlington store will be having an event called Enjoying Coastal Maine. Pre-registration is required. For more information and to register, go to the Made in Burlington website. On May 7th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department and the Burlington Public Library are having a spring fling at Wildwood Park. Everyone is welcome, and the event is free.
There are a few Red Devil teams well into the spring sports season undefeated. We go now to Anthony Matos for the latest BNEWS Sports Report.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this is your weekly sports report. 3 teams remain unbeaten here at BHS, and we have the details on who they are, so let's get to it. Steve Nugent's Karate Institute is celebrating 30 years in business in the town of Burlington. Owner Steve Nugent was before the select board to receive an official proclamation for his mark on this community and all his contributions to the community over the last 3 decades. Here is Steve reflecting on his 30 years.
If you told me 30 years ago that I'd be here, I would not have believed it. Since I opened in '92, we've gone on to open 10 locations now. Burlington is still the flagship. And looking back on it, I'm saying if I'd gone to any other town, I don't think I would have made it. It is so pro-business. It is such a tight-knit community. If you treat them right, they'll treat you right. I've had an amazing relationship going back to, I'm sure some of you guys remember, like Bill Boudreau at the rec department, Joe and Pemba Sr., the Tiggises. It's just been an amazing, amazing relationship, especially with parents. When anyone entrusts you with their children, it's a responsibility that I take very seriously. It's humbling. It's just been an amazing ride. 30 years is a long time, but that's the love I have for Burlington and everyone in it, the police, the fire, the Board of Health, just you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you and Burlington.
Congrats on Steve for 30 years in the town. The Lady Devils tennis team had an away game at the Dobbins Tennis Courts in Wakefield on April 25th, where they won the meet in a one-sided affair, 4-1. With the win, Burlington moves to 3-4 on the season, and has a home game against Wilmington on April 27th. As of taping, the results have not been posted. Red Devil tennis currently sits at 4-2 this season after the game against Wilmington was postponed on April 27th. Lady Devils lacrosse had a home meet against Tewksbury on April 25th at the Marshall Simons Middle School, where they had a blowout victory of 16-4. Burlington moves to 6-3 in the season after getting a shutout of 15-0 against Stoneham on April 27th. Red Devils lacrosse had a home game against the Stoneham Spartans on April 27th, where they won a blowout win of 11-1 and now are 3-3 on the season. Red Devil baseball had a wild home game against the Wakefield Warriors on April 22nd. We have some highlights.
Red Devil baseball was home against Wakefield on April 22nd at the Francis Wyman Field. Let's see what happened on the diamond. The game was scoreless until the top of the third. Wakefield had a 3-0 lead at the end of the third inning. Burlington tied the game in the following inning, 3-3. The Devils took the lead in the bottom of the fourth, 4-3, until the top of the seventh, when Wakefield scored 4 runs, 7-4. Burlington had a great comeback in the bottom of the seventh as they scored 4 runs themselves, taking home the win 8-7.
On April 25th, the team had an away game in Wilmington where they lost 5-3. They had a home game on April 27th against Arlington High School where they lost 8-1. The Red Devils are now 4-5 on the season. Lady Devils softball had an away game on April 22nd at Blatts Field in Wakefield where they won 6-2. They had another win over Wilmington 15-3 on April 25th and moved to 9-0, winning in Arlington 8-1 on April 27th. Both track teams were back at Varsity Field on April 26th for a home meet against the Melrose Red Raiders. The girls lost to Melrose 46-90, ending their undefeated season, but they only have 1 loss under the belt at 2-1. The boys continued the season undefeated at 3-0 with a 76-59 win over the Red Raiders. Red Devils volleyball falls to 1-1 in the season after losing a 3-2 5-set match in Salem, on April 27th. The Burlington Unified basketball team had their home opener again on April 27th against Lexington, where they won 43-28 and improved to 2-0 on the season. It's next week, the Burlington High School Alumni Hockey Game on Saturday, May 7th at 3:30 and 5:30 p.m. Spots are still available, and you can register and find out more at bcattv.org/sports. Catch more Red Devil action on our website and check out our Twitter page at BNews Sports. That's all for this week. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo features the future of news media, courtesy of Girl Scout leader Linda McNamee, who captured BCAT's own Tad Stefanak working with Burlington Scout girls on their reporting skills for their Earth Day activities. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your spring activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Send your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with subject line Photo of the Week. Stay tuned to BCAT for the weekly update from Burlington Public Schools featuring Superintendent Dr. Eric Conti and Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin immediately following this broadcast. Okay, this month marks my 40th year as a volunteer in local access programming, and the BCAT staff has honored me by dredging up some old photos when I was 30 pounds lighter and had a lot more hair. That's it from the news desk. Which camera am I on, Tad? There we go. That's it from the news desk. Thank you for joining us. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Tad Stefanak, Robert Parris, John Vias, Chris Flaherty, Peter Brown, Anthony Matos, and Gretchen Carey. Thank you for joining us.